Welcome to Tuesdays at 2. I'm your host, RJ. In this show, we take a new ingredient every week. It's going to be an ingredient you can find at your local supermarket, and we're going to teach you how to make a wonderful recipe with it. So stick around and check out the recipe. Hello, welcome to Swiss Diamond's Kitchen. Today, on Tuesday at 2, we are working with the ingredient prosciutto. Welcome everybody. If you don't know, my name is RJ. I am your host here with Swiss Diamond's Kitchen. Every Tuesday at about 2 o'clock, we go live here on Amazon, and we do a Tuesday at 2 show where we pick an ingredient the week before, after shopping, and come up with a couple of recipes that we're going to use the ingredient with. Excuse me. Obviously, we are here to show you how well the Swiss Diamond cookware works. We have a couple of different lines, and I'll be going through all of those today. I did get started before you guys got here. Just so you know, I've already got a pound of pasta, well, about 12 ounces of pasta. Just went into that pot before you got here. And I am separating out some prosciutto. That is the hardest part about working with prosciutto. It is a fairly delicate meat, but the way that it's packaged, unless you get it sliced fresh from your butcher, is on these little sheets of parchment paper, and they're stuck there because they've been on there for, you know, however long it's been since they got packaged. All right, so our first, we're doing three things today. 2 meals, 1 appetizer / side. What I'm working on now is a pasta with mushrooms and prosciutto. In a minute, we'll be working on creamy garlic butter scallops with prosciutto, and then we will be doing a asparagus wrapped in prosciutto, which is a great appetizer for a party, or it works really well as a side as well. So what I've got here is I have 4 ounces of prosciutto, and I'm just cutting it up into a pretty thick dice. You don't want it too small. I know that, I don't know, some people want you to cut it really, really, really small. The problem is there is a lot of fat in this. The fat is going to render out, so you'll end up with crispy pieces that are almost too small to actually eat. Great for a salad topping, not good for a main flavor in a pasta. So what I've done is I put in, again, 4 ounces of this diced prosciutto, kind of crumbled up, set it on here. This pan is cold. There's no heat on it at all. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to heat it up over medium-high heat. What that's going to do is it's going to slowly start to render the fat out of the prosciutto, and it'll start to crisp it up. What we're looking for is kind of a crispy add-in to this pasta. Like I said, I started the pasta here, guys. We've got just a couple minutes. I only have 2 burners, so I needed to find a way for us to not sit here and talk about water boiling for 20 minutes. So we didn't want to do that. So what I'm doing, I'm going to make this pasta in this Swiss Diamond HD Nonstick Saute pan. This one is the 11-inch version. We have one bigger and 2 sizes smaller. We have a 12.5. A 26 centimeter, which is 10 and a half inches, and then a 24 centimeter, which is about 9.5 inches. This is the 28. This is the one I really like. Guys, this thing is great. It is cast aluminum, which means that it's going to conduct heat extremely well. It also means it's never going to warp, it's never going to spin, it's never going to like rock on your cooktop, because it's in its natural state. So a lot of metals want to go back to their natural state with a heat thaw cycle. Sorry. This one is already there because it's cast in there, right? So it's molten aluminum becomes into that cast. Heat and cooling it brings it back to where it is. On top of that, we have what's called our plasma layer. Our plasma layer is a coating that goes in between the aluminum and our nonstick coating. The purpose there is twofold. One, it creates a bond for our nonstick coating to heal or to adhere to, and it makes that a very strong bond. But also, on the other hand, what it does is it creates an impermeable base down to the aluminum. So you don't have to worry about if you accidentally go in here and you scratch the coating all the heck using metal utensils, which we recommend you don't. You will not go through that plasma coating, meaning you're not going to get to the aluminum, so you don't have to worry about it leaching into your food. So it's a safety precaution as well as a piece of technology that helps us put our coating on. That brings me to the coating. There's 5 layers of our proprietary diamond-infused coating on here. Yes, real diamond crystals. No, we didn't get them inhumanely. They come off of the what's left when people do diamond bits, like for drill bitting or saws or anything like that. These are the shavings that come off of those ends. So we take those, we put them into our proprietary formula, we spray it on. Again, a bunch of layers, and it creates a really, really, really deep non-stick coating that ends up being, we can offer it to you with a limited lifetime warranty. As all of the HD pans here, they can go in the oven up to 500 degrees. So if we were doing something with a big chunk of meat or something like that we wanted to cook and then get into the oven to finish off, it is something we can definitely do, because as I said, you can bring that up to 500 degrees in the oven. The lid that comes with it, the exact same thing. Okay, so as this is starting to come up to heat or come up to temperature, I'm just going to kind of stir it around. Guys, prosciutto is one of those meats. It's a cross really between a deli meat and a meat that you really want to cook. Depending on who you talk to, people say don't cook prosciutto. Yes, you can take it right off of there, put it on a charcuterie board, put it in a sandwich. I don't know, I've never had a sandwich, but I'm sure you could. It wouldn't be bad. It'd actually taste really good. It wouldn't be bad for you. You wouldn't have much to worry about. However, it crisps up just like bacon. And really what I like to do with it is it really brings out kind of again, it's not a bacon flavor, but it brings that texture to the party. And that's a party I like to be invited to. Can you grab me a bowl? Thank you. So what we're doing now is this pasta is probably perfect. We just want to bring it to al dente. You don't want to overcook it. It's going to go back into the pot. Yep. So al dente means still a little firm, done enough to eat through. Most people like to cook their pasta there. I actually like mine to bring mine a little bit farther, but again, it's going to go back into the pan here in a few minutes. Thank you. So I'm just going to get this out of here. Guys, if you have access to a colander or something, by all means, do that. I'm going to also save a cup of this water for the sauce. But in order to do that, I'm just going to move the pan down to the side, and we'll dig into it here in a few minutes. Guys, if you haven't already, there's a follow button right below me, I believe, unless it's been moved around. Right that side-ish over there. Click that follow button. That's going to let you know when we are coming live. It's also going to let you know anytime we launch any new specials, any new deals, stuff like that. All right, guys, what we're doing is we're going to bring this, and we're going to get this really crispy. We're getting pretty close. You don't want to burn it. I say really crispy. I stay away from where it starts to char, right? So if it starts to turn black, I think you brought it too far. If that's how you like it, by all means, continue on. But I don't love that. Okay, so I'm going to take a plate here. We're going to dump the prosciutto onto the plate. And continue on with this one.
But wait, before we continue, do me a favor. Click that like button, subscribe to us if you haven't already, make sure you've hit the bell so you get our notifications, and comment down below. I know you don't like everything I do, so let me hear it. Now, back to the recipe.
Guys, in the meantime, I'm just going to heat up this pan. This is our Swiss Diamond HD grill pan. So same construction as the pan I just talked about, except for you can see in here we have the ridges on this. These are grill ridges. They are raised to let the fat kind of roll off. If you don't have access to a grill because you live in a high rise, or it's really cold outside, you don't want to go out there right now, or maybe you just don't have a grill, that is a great substitute, for cooking inside and being able to get grill marks and really charring, getting that nice char on a steak or a piece of chicken. This this nonstick browns like stainless, so it's a good thing to kind of have into your house. All right, guys, so I'm just taking this prosciutto off here. It's going to go back in. That one's not nearly as loud when it beeps. But it doesn't cut back on without me telling you. So, straight off. Okay, what are we doing next? So, next we are going to take 3 tablespoons of butter. We're going to melt it into this pan. Next up, we are going to take... Why are you not working? Start. Next up, we're going to take 8 ounces of your favorite mushrooms. I have creminis here, creminis, however you would like to pronounce it. Anything you like for mushrooms, this is a really good one. I just like them sliced. However, if you like smaller bits of mushrooms, or if you're using something a little bit tougher, if you're using oyster mushrooms, something like that, where it really needs to break down a little bit more, go ahead and dice them. It's not a big deal. However you like it is kind of perfect here. Okay. So we're going to let that butter melt down. In the meantime, actually what I'm going to do is I'm going to have this pan hot. I'm going to switch pans, which ones I want hot first. Let's go ahead and get this one hot. Ah, that's the other thing. So our Swiss Diamond induction pans, they don't make this noise. Can you guys hear that? I don't know. Let me get real close. Did you hear that buzzing? Well, it's buzzing. Stainless steel pans buzz on induction cooktops. There's nothing you can do about it. It's just unfortunately the way that it works. What happens is it's creating that magnetic. It turns magnets on, off, and that's how it creates heat. So it's going at real fast. And essentially, okay, guys, what I'm doing over here is I am preheating this pan. I'm going to cook the scallop meal in it. Yep. So we're going to start with the scallops. I have 8 ounces of bay scallops. By all means, you can use sea scallops if you want, whatever you've got. Another thing we do here at Tuesdays at 2 is I try to make it things that you can actually get at your store. These are frozen scallops. Hold on, guys. I dropped one, and if I don't pick it up, it's going to smell real bad in here tomorrow. Okay. These are frozen scallops. This meal lends itself to frozen scallops. You're not just doing a seared scallop on the side on the plate, because that you would want to use fresh for. This is a really good meal for your frozen scallops. Okay, guys, again, what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and chop up about 4 ounces of the prosciutto here. The only reason why I know that's 4 ounces is because I bought them in 4-ounce packs, and that's where the separation was. This is not baking. About 4 ounces is fine. If they come in 3-ounce packs, by all means, use it. If you want to use more, it's going to be just as delicious. This is obviously the salty flavor you're going to get in the meal. We're not adding a ton of extra salt. You'll get that from here. You'll get the fat from here as well. Prosciutto is a very, very good cured meat. Okay. So that butter is melted. As soon as I get this prosciutto pulled off the paper here, I'm going to dump the mushrooms in it and let them start to cook down. In fact, I'm going to go ahead and turn that up to high and let it get pretty hot. So we're going to put the mushrooms in there. We're going to start to let those, okay, I hear you. There you go. We're going to put the mushrooms in there, start to let them cook down. And over here, what we're going to do is we're going to take a little bit of olive oil and we're going to put it in the pan. And you can tell it's hot. Well, I have it on the wrong one. But you can tell it's hot because it starts to beat up. What you don't want it to do is start to smoke. If you bring the oil up to its smoking point, yes. If you bring oil up to its smoking point, what can happen is it will burn. But more importantly, it could flash on you. And you definitely don't want oil, obviously, flashing up on you. And let's use a clean one. You don't want oil flashing up on you and creating fire and sparks and all that, especially if you weren't ready for it or didn't expect it. Okay, we're just going to let those cook for just a few minutes, probably 3 to 4 minutes. And let them cook. So scallops, you really don't want to overcook. You got to be careful with them, especially bay scallops. They cook pretty quickly, so just keep an eye on them. These are going to get brown on one side. We'll flip them, they'll get brown on the other side. Or I'm going to shake them, but they'll be mostly brown all over the place. So anyway, back to what I was doing. I was chopping this prosciutto. So this is our DLX line. So Swiss Diamond a few years ago decided we needed to get a stainless steel line, and we entered the market in the single ply line, or with a stainless steel pan. So this pan is a single ply all the way around, except for the bottom. It's got what's called an encapsulated bottom on it. So on the bottom of this pan, you have 2 layers of stainless steel and 2 layers of aluminum as well. So what that aluminum does is helps conduct the heat throughout the pan and keep it so that the heat stays, conducts all the way through, and it goes evenly through the pan. Because the thing that I hate the most about a lot of nonstick, a lot of stainless pans, especially the thin ones, what I don't like about them is that it creates hot spots and it's uneven. Guys, we pop that door open, it got smoky in here. So I'm just going to season this with salt and pepper. Again, this is our mushrooms that are just going on here. We're going to cook these, until they start to kind of get soft. I'm not going to cook them all the way down. I don't need them to be mush. I want them to have a little bit of crunch to them, a little bit of bite to them. I am going to cook them down pretty good. Guys, so with mushrooms, if you get them pre-sliced or if you make sure you wash them. Mushrooms, I say this a lot. Anything that grows out of the ground is pretty dirty. Mushrooms are one of those plants. They're pretty dirty, so we want to make sure that we wash them. Make sure we get any bacteria or anything off of them. Let's see. What have I moved? Yep, perfect. So we got that going. These are almost done. We're going to give them another minute or so. We're going to take a plate and move them to the side. Yep. All right. So you'll see that these are kind of browned all the way around. They're not quite cooked all the way through, but we're going to go back in the pan with them in just a minute, and that will finish them off. What we are going to do now is take this. You got stuff everywhere. We're going to take the prosciutto I cut up for this and put it in that pan. Let it get nice and crispy. This one I am going to crisp up a little bit more than I did for that meal, because you're already going to have a chewy meat. It's not really chewy, but you're all going to have, this one's dirty. All right, you are going to have a more chewy protein, I guess, and texture in this meal. So we want this one to be nice and crispy. So we're going to get the prosciutto going, and we're going to crisp it up on the stainless steel pan. Let it go for probably 3 to 5 minutes. All right, so we're back over this one. What I'm gonna do here is I'm going to take these mushrooms, make sure they're getting brown all over the place, and they are. So I'm gonna move them to the side. And you see nothing sticking in that pan. All right, what I'm gonna do is I'm going to take a teaspoon of smoked paprika. Half a teaspoon of crushed red pepper. Did I bring that in here? Yes, I did. And 2 cloves of garlic. And I'm just going to let that cook for just a minute. So garlic, I'm just going to thinly slice. If you have jarred garlic that's minced already, that's fine for this one. Usually I definitely recommend fresh garlic. It doesn't take very much longer to use. It's a lot cheaper, and it's going to give you a much more true garlic flavor. So if you're cutting garlic, careful with your fingers. It's a small thing, right? So we don't want to cut our fingers. Guys, I mentioned earlier, if you hit that follow button, it's going to let you know when we come out with new items. We have, in 2023, a bunch of new stuff coming your way. I can't spoil it only because we don't have everything here yet. But I think you're going to be rather impressed with what we've got coming. We have a bunch of new products and new product lines. I'm really, really excited about it. Okay, so we got that in here. What I'm doing, I'm going to put a little bit of oil in this. We're just roasting up, kind of letting the spices open up, right? You don't have to get really hot. And then just gonna mix them all in. All right, so next up with this one is we're going to put the pasta back in. We're going to put in half a cup of cream. It's getting nice and crispy. So you can tell when prosciutto starts to get crispy, it starts to smell a little bit like bacon. Once that starts to happen, you can tell that side's getting crisp. It puts off a lot of smoke. It is part of the bacon flame. It does have a lot of fat in it. This is what I say, half cup of cream, about that much. And then I need a half a cup of this water that I saved. Boom. We're gonna bring that to a boil, let it thicken up. Like I said, this one is done. We're gonna. So on the same plate here, I'm just gonna put these because it's all gonna go back in a few minutes. I'm gonna let that cool down. It's really hot. You take this and run it underwater. It's gonna sizzle at you, so be careful. Got it? And just bring it back. You don't have to clean it all the way off or anything. Alright guys, so what I'm doing here, sorry. This is the pasta dish, so we're just gonna let that cook down for just a second. Once this starts to get a little bit thicker, I'm gonna add the prosciutto back in. Excuse me, and I'm going to put parsley on it, and that one's actually done. It's a really quick one. Sorry guys, I got a little smoky in here, hold on. Okay, so when that pan gets back in here, we'll finish up that one. But in the meantime, what we're gonna do is we're gonna take our asparagus, cut them. Guys, you can take asparagus and they actually will tell you where they wanna be cut. If you hold them on the both ends and bend them, they're gonna pop exactly where they think they wanna be cut. That's really the best way to do it. This way is the quick, cheating way. And it works good enough. All right, so with this stuff, we want to take the prosciutto. Same thing, take the long slices, but instead of piling it up, what I'm gonna do is lay it out because we're gonna wanna cut them long ways into strips. It's all right. It'll be all right. Thank you. Okay, we'll warm that back up. All right, so we're taking this and we're cutting these into strips here. And we're going to wrap our asparagus in them, and then we're going to use the grill pan that I was talking about earlier to grill these. Now, if you guys have a grill at the house and you don't have a grill pan, by all means, take these outside, put them on the grill. They're going to work out just the same and be delicious, okay? So that's what we're going for here, is just kind of grilled up excuse me, prosciutto. Gosh, sorry guys. All right, so while that heats back up, we're just gonna take these and cut them lengthwise. A lot of times they'll already kind of have a natural cut in them, so just kind of finish that off. And you just take a couple of stalks here, you roll them up. You don't have to roll them really tight or anything, but you know, kind of roll it. Make sure the prosciutto is around it, as presentable as you would like it to be. All right, I'm gonna skip back to this real fast. Yeah, all right. So we're gonna put the prosciutto back in. I'm gonna put 2 tablespoons of butter in there. Do 3 cloves of garlic. And see how I have, well, maybe you can't see on that one. So what I've got is I've got the butter on one side. And so what I want to do is I want to put this garlic on that side and kind of let it start to brown. All right. So we got 3 cloves of garlic. Like I said, we're going to cut them, put them in the butter, and let them kind of brown. We don't want to necessarily roast them. We don't want roasted garlic or brown garlic. But we do want them to cook a little bit. Start to get some of that really good flavor out of there. Start to get a little bit of It's almost a nutty flavor you'll get out of cooked garlic and butter. You just put that on that side and let it cook for a minute. Next up, we're going to add a 1/4 cup of chicken stock, 1/2 cup of cream. You guys can use white wine if you have white wine instead of chicken stock. I like to use chicken stock instead of white wine. I think it brings a richer flavor. I know that a lot of people are going to yell at me and say, no way, white wine's way better for this. They're wrong. No, I'm just joking. They're probably right. Everybody likes something different. That's all I had left. I was just putting it back in this one. Excuse me. So what I'm going to do here is just kind of move this around and let it start to thicken up. Once it starts to boil, we'll be good. Moving back to, let's do this. Let's go ahead and wrap these, okay? And after we wrap these, we will plate the pasta dish. So we're just taking, 4 or 5 asparagus at a time. You can wrap them single if you want to, one at a time. They don't present as well as they would when you have, 4 or 5 of them. But there's no rule here. We're just taking them and rolling them, making sure you have prosciutto all over and ready to go on the grill pan with, which is what we'll get going next here. What I'm going to do here is I'm just going to cut up some parsley, real rough for this one. Drop that in, boom, okay. Stir this up. Yep, that's where we want it. In goes the pancetta, or the prosciutto we cooked up earlier. And then I'm going to cook that and bring it up just a little bit. I want to cook that down just a touch. Put some cheese in it. Parmesan shaky cheese is perfect if you have Parmesan Romano or anything like that at the house. By all means, use the nicer cheese. I like to use this stuff. It is cheap. My kids love it, and it really thickens things up. The cheese isn't the star in this episode. If it was, I would definitely say let's go a different way. Okay, guys. So we're back over here. We've done everything we need to do. So what we're gonna do is we're going to put in our scallops. We're going to put in some green onions. We're going to put in some parsley. And we're going to put in salt and pepper here. Now I know it looks like a mess here, and if you walk into a professional kitchen, it looks like a mess everywhere. I promise it'll plate up nice. And you can do it a little slower than me if you want to. So salt and pepper. That one is basically ready to go. So we're going to take some plates here. See if I can clean this up. So let me clean some of this up so we can plate everything on one here. Move some of this out of the way. We'll get 2 things plated right away, and then we'll get the 3rd one done in just a minute. All right, so I have everything on this side today. Usually I have everything on the other side. All right, so this one, you take 2 plates and you're just going to mix. You're gonna just like this, right? You're gonna serve half for half. This is so the sauce isn't, you don't need all of the sauce by all means if you want to. The reason why you cook extra sauce with this one is traditionally you would serve it over a rice or a couscous or even a polenta. So you want that extra sauce for the starch. Today I'm serving it on a plate by itself because we already had a pasta dish and I didn't think that you guys want to sit around and watch water boil all day because I don't want to sit around and watch water boil all day. But by all means, please serve this over your favorite starch. Put a little bit of extra sauce in there. A little bit of extra sauce on the plate just to fill the plate. All right. Look at that. There's a little more left. Boom. Get this out of the way. That was actually clean. Clean your rims. All right. So that is going to be your scallop, creamy scallop plate. Here we're going to do this one in a bowl. In the meantime, I'm going to get this crank in here. Actually, let me go here. Okay, same thing with these. I'm going to put these on this pan cold because what we're going to do is we're going to let them cook on each side for about 4 minutes, and we'll turn them. Not each side for 4 minutes. It should take about 4 minutes to finish this thing. Sorry, maybe a little bit longer. Anyway, we're gonna put them on there, let them warm up on that pan, and we'll flip them as soon as they get warm. So this thing, same problem. You get the shrimp, or not shrimp, sorry, the pasta, the prosciutto, the mushrooms. These meals are the same color. I would definitely try to get some red pepper. If you were serving these two together, try to get some red pepper. Not flakes, like red bell pepper. Put a couple red pieces on the top, make it stand out. I make 3 servings. So that recipe is for 4 servings. I didn't quite have 4 servings of pasta. I had about 3, as you can see. So that is what that's going to look like. And then finally, we're going to have our prosciutto wrapped asparagus. Move some of this around here. This over here. All right, so guys, with this one, we're just looking to crisp up the prosciutto. Once the prosciutto is crisp, you can serve this one. Now, I usually serve this one so the asparagus are a little bit more raw. If you don't like that, what you're going to want to do is you're going to want to put a little oil or water in this pan. And I'll go ahead and do that and show you. Just put a little water in this pan. What that's going to help do is help steam out the asparagus. And the reason why I now say you should use the grill pan instead of another pan is if you're using the grill pan, that water is going to stay below the water is going to stay below the prosciutto and the asparagus and all that. It really just helps steam and finish up that asparagus without making anything soggy and sloppy. It's a pretty good option. That's why I like these grill pans. All right, guys. So all that to say, this is done. So what you're going to do here is you're going to pull off your asparagus. Keep it into bundles as best you can. Plate it as best you can. This is a great appetizer. As I said, appetizer or side. I don't know that I would use this as a side with a prosciutto-based dish, but it is a great side that I serve pretty often at the house. It gets my kids to eat it because it tastes a little bit like bacon, where normally they're not going to touch asparagus, so it helps there. All right, guys, so I hate that we have to leave, but the time is going, so I'm going to do one more thing. I've got my bowl of fun over here, so we're going to pick out for next week. You know what, guys? I'm going to pick out for 2 weeks. I'm going to go ahead and pick out for this week, or next week, and I'm going to pick out for the following 2 because my shopper bee is going to have some time off. So I'm going to need some help there. So I'm going to go ahead and shop early for it. So next week, we are going to do Spam. All right, so we're going to do 2 or 3 Spam meals. I've been to Hawaii a couple times. That doesn't really qualify me as a Spam connoisseur, but I think I get the hang of it. We'll do something other than deep frying it or whatever else you guys do. All right, and then one more here, Brussels sprouts. So we'll do Brussels sprouts the week after next. Like I said, I went ahead and pulled that because I need my shopping team and food team to be able to go ahead and prepare that, whatever we need for that. Guys, it's been a great time with you today. I didn't take up too much of your time, about 45 minutes. We did 3 real quick things. I did a buttery, creamy scallops with prosciutto. We did a prosciutto mushroom pasta. And then prosciutto wrapped asparagus. Guys, if you have any questions, comments down below or message us at any time. I'm here to help. My team is here to help. We can walk you through any of this. We can walk you through the cookware. we can walk you through most of your kitchen needs. So again, I really appreciate you spending time with us today, and I will see you, I guess, Thursday morning. Have a great afternoon. Bye-bye.
Thanks for joining us. We had a lot of fun. Do me a favor, click that like button, click the subscribe button. If you haven't hit the bell, make sure you hit that. Comment down below. Stay tuned. Next week, we're going to bring you another great recipe.